Yes, folks, we are about to commence today's presentation. And today I've captioned um, our presentation today as reasoning together. And as I usually do, um, I can't start this presentation without acknowledging the universe and its four elements: the land, the water, the air, and fire. These four elements created the Big Bang, and everything came into existence. I will explain it. I will explain it further during the presentations. And for us to be here today, reasoning together, sharing knowledge together, is because of our great ancestors who shed their blood, who sacrificed their lives for us to be where we are today. Yeah, thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the gifts. Yes, we cannot proceed without acknowledging them. Yes, before the European or before the barbarians came here, our ancestors fought them. They resisted them to secure this land that today you and I call home, or the motherland. So we need to give some respect, high level of respect to our dear ancestors. And when we touch on the topic of ancestors, people, especially our brothers who have been indoctrinated and brainwashed, they don't even want to hear it. But you are there praising Saint Mark, Saint Matthew, Saint Luke. All the saints are someone's ancestor that have nothing to do with you. When you call on them, you help them activate theirs, so they will continue to rule over you. Let's activate ours and give them that due respect. Yes. Yes. Let me also use this opportunity to welcome my beautiful followers. And today we are streaming on 3 platforms. Yes, we are streaming on 3 platforms. We are streaming on YouTube, and we are also streaming on Facebook and TikTok. So gradually we are trying to get more gadgets, build a better studio where we should be able to reach all, if not all the major social media networks, to send this great message to the 4 corners of the world. Yes, 4 corners of the world. When we say that, we also have it in our language, and it has been part of our language for thousands and millions of years. In every language, my ancestors say what? Hehe kun kata. Hehe kun, meaning the 4 corners of the world. So our ancient fathers have the knowledge of the 4 cardinal points of the world. which our spirituality is built upon. And they use a specific knowledge system, coded knowledge system, to represent that kona kata or kona, or the four cardinal points of the world, or that made up this world or this universe. And when they were in the ancient Kemet, aka Egypt of today, they use the Ankh. Yes, they use the Ankh, what is today known as the Ankh, to represent the four cardinal points of the world. That is a topic on its own. We'll be treating that. We'll be talking about the cardinal, how it becomes, where the four corners or meet, how it becomes life. That is another topic on its own. So the four elements of the universe that made this universe, which I mentioned earlier on: the land, the earth, the water, the air, and fire. The center becomes a cardinal point. This has been part of our esoteric knowledge. It is part of our esoteric knowledge system. But you know, when our teaching high priests were took away, were enslaved away, many of them killed this knowledge system, gradually faded away. And those who enslaved us brought their knowledge system, which today has become our measuring rod as a people. Look at the Indians. They have their spirituality and everything together, despite being enslaved, colonized. The Chinese, they have their knowledge systems together. The Japanese, they have their shrines, they have their temples. They have all these things together. But we that hold the keys to this knowledge system, we've lost ours. But we didn't just lose it or lost it. It was a calculated and deliberate attempt or effort to put us in our predicament right. So, as part of our reasoning together, we're going to look into so many subtopics. I'm going to treat some few things together, but the major focus will be on the evil of Christianity on Africa, or the evil that those who brought us Christianity committed in Africa. Yes, one of my grandfathers used to say something which I totally agree with him. Those days when I was doing my research work, I would travel to the village to meet them, and my grandfather always says that the road to freedom is full of thorns and fire. Yet, happy is the one who follows it. Yes, freedom is not given on the silver platter. Freedom, you must fight for freedom. That is one thing we black people need to understand. Western has brainwashed us to the point that we think once you become a Christian or once you become Christianized, right, you are free from everything. Yes, that is how the barbarians, that is how the cavemen programmed everything and packaged it for us. And today, we've accepted it. When we as a people must put in an effort to make things work, we rather pray and hope that a miracle will happen. No. Our Asian fathers used to say something that when you pray, you ask for energy. When you pray, you ask for understanding. When you pray, you ask for strength. So after praying, if you have to move a mountain, you need to get your pickaxe and shovels and start digging. But you don't pray and sit for one place thinking a miracle will happen. It is not possible, and it is not going to happen. But that is exactly how the matrix, that is exactly how we have been programmed. Today you see so many black people from Monday to Sunday. So many of them spend their precious hours in the church praying, thinking that things are going to be easy overnight. No. You see, they are successful. Those who brought us Christianity were so successful because they inserted so many lies into the Bible. They succeeded in creating fabricated lies into the Bible. You see, they tell you prayer is the key. No, that is not true. So you see us in the church everywhere, praying, shouting, making unnecessary noise, thinking we are praying for our solution or to get a solution. No. So that caption, prayer is the key, is a false statement. Understanding of the issues at hand is the key. I am not saying no one should pray. No. I'm not saying stop praying. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm telling you that the Eurocentric concept of God, the Eurocentric concept of religion that have been given to us is not to uplift the black man, but to put us in a place where the slave master wants us to be. Look at our educational systems in Africa. Things that can give us practical knowledge. Things that can give us technical knowledge have been taken away. Come to Ghana, have been taken away from our syllabus. Agriculture science has been taken away from our textbooks, has been taken out here in Ghana. And they package religious and moral education for us. What are you going to use religion and moral education for? I remember when we were in the basic school, we used to have cultural studies, right? And you learn about your culture, your identity. But what do we have today? They've taken the cultural studies and they've rebranded to you, for us, religious and moral education. What is in religion that you need to go and learn? Yes, the one who is funding your education, the one who is funding your system is the one controlling what you should learn. So we learn rubbish, excuse me for my language. We learn things that will not change our narratives. The system is evil. And our political puppets from Ghana, Nigeria, across Africa. Look at what is happening in Kenya. They have never seen anything yet. You see, someone sent me a message that he hasn't seen me talking about politics. Trust me, I am not scared of any politician. Trust me, I am not. For me, I have programmed everything that I do. Don't worry, those who are watching, should just keep their fingers crossed. Yes, we need a new force in this political arena. We need smart people who can outsmart the system. We are tired of this puppets that we have in Africa today. Yes, because they are puppets, their masters are supporting them against the will of their people. They are introducing wicked and evil taxes. We need to wake up, black people. We need to wake up. See, let me just give you one example of the nonsense that is going on in this country, which very soon I'm going to spit fire. The former government, that is the NDC government led by John Mahama. Now, let me make this statement very clear before I proceed. I have no loyalty to any political party. I am a free man. And I speak my mind because of what is happening in this country. So if you come to the comment section and you say, hey, I belong to party A, party B, please, In the morning, try and go and take your medication, please. You understand? Now listen. A government in power was in power who started a housing project, the Saglame housing project, built 1,500 apartment or housing scheme. I learned the project was to build 5,000 housing units, and 1,005 was built. Though according to what the current politicians are saying is that it's not fully completed. What is needed? Water and electricity. And you have Tema close to the project site. You have how much would it take to connect water, to connect electricity to that housing project? But you see the black man with his corrupt mentality, we are there only to find ways and means to rob and to steal from the poor. And because of that, this government came to power for almost 7 years. We are entering into the 8 years because this year is an election year. And this government never made an attempt to bring even electricity or water to this facility so that our workers, even government workers who don't have place to lay their heads, can get places. But they left it, right? That is our mindset. And now I watch a news item from, I think, UTV. This government is selling, I've started a process of selling this 1,500 houses to their cronies. When you talk about it, they say they don't have money, but you were able to raise money to build that useless cathedral there. The national cathedral, whatever it is. You got the money to dig that big hole over $50 million. You see how stupid our leaders are sound. Even what they call the National Cathedral, what they building, they just dug out, they demolished government buildings that cost millions of dollars to be built. They demolish it. And now dug a very big pit, costing about $50 million or so. That is what I heard. That money could have been used to bring electricity and water for our people. Why demolish previous government buildings, including passport office? To build a national cathedral for who? Who is going to sleep there? Are there not empty lands in Ghana where you can build your so-called cathedral for your God? And the most stupid thing that I heard was that they even imported a stone, an ordinary useless stone from Israel, to use as part of the foundation of this cathedral. They imported. You see how stupid the black man looks now? Yes, it was just an avenue to steal from the people. It's just an avenue to loot the country's resources. But very soon the youth of this country is going to stand. And nobody can stop this. Mark it. The wind is blowing across Africa. Let's continue. Let's continue to invoke the gods. Let's continue to invoke the elements. Let's continue to invoke our ancestors. And more souls. And more souls will be lifted to stand for what is right. Our politicians have become so evil. They twist the arm of the innocent citizens for their selfish gain. Ghana has every resources you can think of in this world. Aside that, we have the best water resources, fresh water resources. But this government and their attacks have destroyed all the water bodies in and around Accra. Not even Accra. Go to the western region, the central region. Everywhere the water bodies have been destroyed. But we will resist anybody who will try to mess up with the Volta River. Trust me. We shall sacrifice our lives to protect the Volta River. Plans are already in place, trust me. It's not everything I can say here. Enough of the barbaric nature of our leaders who have become puppets of the West, so they care less about our people. See, here I am, I'm not rich. People who believe in me, who believe in my dreams, and trust me, send me money to do. Yes, it's not everything we can put on social media. And out of that, I still help a lot of people. I am not. I could have used some of these monies to make life comfortable for myself. But I can't afford when people in the village can't even have 3 square meals a day. If you're a leader and you don't think that way, what sort of leadership are you? What sort of leader are you? Women, pregnant women are dying with their babies because there are no power. And you as a leader, you don't feel anything about it. People are dying, people are suffering. Sometimes I end up even using money that is meant for projects to support people. I'm not the kind of person, when I do stuff, I like to put on social media. No, not everything. But things that we encourage the youth to stand up, to pursue their dream, their visions, I'll put on social media. A lot is not going right. And we must stand and fight together. You see, religion that was brought to us by the Europeans is not here to help us, especially Christianity was not brought to us to to free us, but to enslave us and to allow their puppet, their black puppet, who call themselves misleaders, and the pastors and the religious leaders to control you. They work hand in hand. Have you ever seen how many pastors, how many so-called men of God do you see condemning the evil, the barbaric policies of these puppets? How many leaders? How many religious leaders? And I heard too that, is it one, the vice president, who is now a presidential candidate, was saying that is going to give, is it the clergy or something, salaries. You see, sometimes when you see these so-called politicians talking, you wonder with their PhD, what sort of thinking is that? Well, I don't blame them. The PhD you are holding was given to you by the Western standard, where looting of the state and people's resources comes to one man's pocket. We are blessed. We love titles. They say this one is the richest man in the world. When that man alone's wealth, money, stock can change the world. I keep saying that if I should have $7 billion, I would change the entire Volta and OT region market. I don't need much, just 7 billion. Trust me, I'll change the Volta region and OT region. Folks, let's stand up. The time is coming, and we need to start now. If not, the generation after us will curse us. You see, the religious, the people who brought you religion, or who brought us Christianity religion, put the doctrine of fear in us. You see, in the past, our ancient fathers were not scared of death. Trust me. In the ancient past, our fathers were not scared of death, because they know that death is also part of the process. This earth is all where the living things that have flesh must come, do their work, and go back. And when the appointed time comes, they come back on this earth. So our ancient fathers were not scared of death. That is why they will fight to secure the land. They will sacrifice their lives, because he knows when this is just a process, he will be back on this earth. But when Christianity came, when Islamic religion came, they put fear in us, right? They put fear. So the men, the African revolutionary people, the strong men who supposed to hold, protect our women and children, have become puppets, are even weak than the women. We are all scared of death. If our ancient fathers, if our forefathers did not sacrifice their lives, you and I would not be here today. Stop being afraid of death. For me, I am not. Because I understand so many things. My ancestors, the universe, have opened my eyes about this knowledge system. So I am not scared of death. That is me. And that is how we're supposed to be. Look at our chiefs. Look at some of our paramount chiefs. Look at some of our paramount chiefs and queen mothers. Some of them have become toothless bulldogs. Our chiefs that were supposed to be custodians of our customs, tradition, our palaces that were supposed to be a place of refuge. Today, our chiefs have become something else. A chief, they don't even stand to defend their own people anymore. Let me give you an example. Recently, there was this young man, Maya, in Angloga, I think Keta or Angloga. This young guy was brutally beaten at the police house. It's an open secret. A whole landlord who has an issue with his tenant, for whatsoever reasons, the tenant have to call the police. And if someone have issue, the police, your own is to do your investigation and to get bring peace, or let the law take its course. But this guy died in the police house. But what happened? You see, the youth were agitating, then demonstrating. But what about our chiefs? They are quiet. The lives of their people is no more important, relevant for them. What sort of leadership is this? How can we respect such chiefs? Me, I will respect that kind of chief. When your people, the needs of your people, the lives of your people don't matter to you. Now, chieftaincy has become a competition. Chiefs have become so luxurious. They want to live the best luxurious life. Today, all over social media, you see paramount chiefs and kings parading their big cars, luxurious cars. With customized numbers. And this is what the chiefs of today are interested in. Buy the most biggest luxurious cars, and when they are passing, people will know that they are chiefs and kings. When your people are suffering. Folks, we are streaming live on YouTube, the same Teaching High Priest platform, Facebook and TikTok. My name is your Teaching High Priest, Nufialaga Maupo Mokobla Nonyibe. Folks, we as a people must come together to help ourselves. The politicians, the puppet ones, they bought houses in Europe and the Americas, and they are securing the future of their children outside. Find out and see how many politicians' children schooled in Ghana It is only the sufferer. It is only the sufferer. Folks, something must be done. Something must be done. We need to be disciplined as a people. We need to be disciplined as a people. And what is discipline? Now, discipline is the highest form of anything. Yes, I'm using the word the highest form of anything. We need to discipline our minds, our thoughts. Discipline is the beginning of true love. Discipline is the beginning of true love. When you discipline yourself, you know how to talk to people. You know how to understand people. You know how to interact with people with respect. What is respect? Or what is love? Love means respect. This English language is doing a lot of harm to us as a people. Yes. Love means respect. If you respect yourself, if you have self-love, you respect the woman who is with you. You will respect how you talk to people. You will know how to talk to people. A lot of things have gone wrong with us as a people. And it is time we start to change the narratives. You see, in the ancient past or in the past, we don't, you see, unlike the way today, you have so many priests. You have so many traditional priests around. No, in the past, it doesn't used to be like that. Today, some of even our priests have become so greedy. I am a just man. I will only condemn Christianity and Islamic religion and pretend that everything is okay in our spirituality. No! Today, there are a lot of fake priests in the system who are messing a lot of people up. So it is time we need to bring back the concept of the teaching high priest that we used to have in the past. Yes, my intentions are to build a school called the Amuao Development Institute. It's an institution to bring back this knowledge system, to train more teaching high priests, to bring some more morality, to build more morality in our system. Today, our women, our ladies, our sisters, they don't even know how to dress anymore. And that is the reality. Look at the young men. Majority are into drugs and other stuff. No guidance. Men have become vultures. There is no sanity in our system today. And why is that? Because we've borrowed someone's system, trying to implement someone's system. No. You cannot borrow someone's eyes to see. And that is the reality. I know some people may not like me, but I'm fine. I am fine. I'm okay with it. Someone must stand up. Janice, welcome. And thanks for the blessing the other day. Yes, a lot of stuff gone waste. Let me put on, excuse me just a second, let me put on my lightning system. Discipline. You see, before, the black man used to be a very powerful man. Yes, those who don't know their history, those who don't know their ancient fathers will disagree, but that is fine. Today, look at our men. We, the men, it's like there are no more men. Impregnating a woman doesn't mean you are a man. The responsibility that comes with it. You understand? Most of the time, we say we are spiritual people. But you see, to understand or to be spiritual in this universe, is to hear, discern, and to do truth to all humans. That is what we are talking about. Well, now let me go. I think I've touched on some key issues. Now let me take you and talk about slavery, which is the genesis of our problems, right? Genesis is, let me say, slavery is the genesis of our problems. Have you wondered why? Have you wondered how our ancient fathers used to live their lives before the barbarians, before the caveman, before the pink man came to Africa? You see, they say until the lion tells his own story, the ant will always glorify the hunter. The hunt of the story will always glorify the hunter. I don't know if I've said it right though. That is exactly our predicament as a black people. We have taken his version of our story as our history, and we are proud of that. He, the man who came in the name of Jesus Christ, raped your mother, raped your sisters, raped our daughters at even 7 years old, all in the name of Jesus, all in the name of civilizing the uncivilized. But trust me, black people were civilized to the marrow of our bones before the Europeans came here. Before the Europeans brought their Bible. Now let me tell you this side of the story, our story, that cannot be found in our exercise, in our textbooks, in our universities. The question is, how do you expect them to put our story, our version of our stories, into our various textbooks? No. They will not do it. When you have corrupt leaders who are only interested in pocketing the national resources, because they realize that our leaders are corrupt. So they come in with their shadow deals. So these people, they realize our leaders are so corrupt to the point that they've eaten of the spent, they've stolen the national resources. So they come in with a proposal in the name of grants, loans, among others. The IMF, such a criminal organization, backed by the NATO, the Western Alliance, and America. Nobody should think that all these international NGOs that are backed, or institutions, or Bretton Woods institutions, are in Africa to help us. No. After slavery and colonization, they created a system that will continue to benefit them. But our leaders, who have their PhD among others, have now become part of the system. So you see, before the Europeans came, or let me put it this thing, I'm going to tell you a story of something that happened in the Volta region. And the story is there up to today. If you come and you go to those places, the stories can be confirmed to you. Now, when the Danes or the Danes came first and stepped foot, no, before I go there. You see, the Europeans divided Africa into zones, and they divided into zones, that is according to what they get or the produce they get from that particular section. So they have named them, they've carved names for all those areas. Yes. So they created what it's known today as what? The Slave Coast. Now, the Slave Coast consists of these countries in West Africa that I'm going to mention for you. Before, we don't used to have all these countries, but now some of these areas have been divided into countries. That is why I'm saying I'm going to mention those countries that made up of the Slave Coast or areas. Nigeria was part of the Slave Coast. Benin, the Republic of Benin, was part of the Slave Coast. Togo was part of the Slave Coast. Ghana, specifically the Volta region, all the way to the Greater Accra region, was part of the what? The Slave Coast. And the reason why they called it Slave Coast is that is where they get the majority of the slaves from. That is where they got majority of the slaves from. Now, I know when I say that, someone will ask, why are there not many castles in the Volta region or in these areas? There are castles in Nigeria and other stuffs, but there were more castles in other places. What we have in the Volta region were forts and slave transit points. Now, then from the Slave Coast, they created what they call, what we have today as what? The Gold Coast, where they got a lot of gold from. And that is why they call it the Gold Coast. Then, where they got their ivory from, they call it Ivory Coast. Then they have the Grain Coast, where they got their grain, foods, and other stuff. They named them. That is how they named them. So, if you need to understand why the indigenous people of Brazil and the Caribbean and all these things, Haiti, and among that, they have strong voodoo background or voodoo background. You should understand where they are coming from. So, you see what they call the Gold Coast. We have the Elmina Castle. We have the Cape Coast castles. Originally, those castles that were built by the Danes and the Portuguese were to trade in gold. So, when they found out that slavery has become lucrative, they switched. So, in order not to cause them to build more castles, they upgraded the Cape Coast and other castles, Elmina castles, and other ones in Nigeria, all the way, even up to Senegal. Then, in the Slave Coast, they built forts. and slave transit points or bathing centers. I think one day I'll be going to some of these places in the Volta region to do a video about some of these transit sites. And you'll be surprised that where these transit sites are, there are churches, they build churches there. Now let me explain, let me tell you how slavery became lucrative. When the Europeans, the Danes and the Dutch, whatever they call themselves, started trading here, they realized that the only way they could succeed is to divide and conquer. So what they did was they set our heads up against each other. They set our heads against each other. You see, sometimes when I see black people in Africa describing themselves as tribes, sometimes it beats my imagination. I don't know if it's because of lack of ignorance, lack of knowledge. You see, we were not tribes. We were a nation of people. For instance, the areas that were named as Slave Coast, we were a nation, a kingdom, an empire of a people who speak the same language with different dialects. So Yoruba, when you speak Yoruba, you get Ebe inside. From all this language, you get a lot from inside. We were one people. So when you come to the account session, there were also a nation of people. But they end up brainwashing us through their education, and we accepted the title tribes. So they set us against each other, and to create what is called the tribal wars. Because when two brothers fight, it is the enemy that wins. So we start fighting each other. Then we start creating prisoners of wars. This is how the slavery started. So they start creating prisoners of wars. Then what happened? So those prisoners that were captured, the white folks will come and say, hey, the Dutch and all those people, they will come and say, hey, those prisoners of war, sell them to us. Now, before that happened, especially on the coastal stretch, do not be deceived that our ancestors never resisted slavery. They fought. And that is a fact. As I said already, until the lion tells its own story, the hunt will always glorify the hunter. You understand? So on the coastal stretch, the Portuguese, the Danes, the Dutch, whatever you call them, established chiefs. They created chiefs positions along the coast and made them authorities, people who are not supposed to be kings. They created all these chief, sub-chiefs, they created all those systems and placed their puppets there. So it was their puppets who they were moving with. It was their black people, traitors, the black traitors that they placed there as chiefs, kings and queens. Who were their what? The middlemen. So they go to the hinterland to negotiate for more slaves. And it got to a point, the Dutch, the Portuguese, and all these people, they start to arm these traitors. And they go to hinterland, cause confusion, kill people, and they bring them to sell them. A lot of people fought them. So if you see on the coast of West Africa and you find out a chief or a paramount chief having an European name, they are the descendant of those who partook or partake in the slavery. A lot of them became rich on the coast. Our own traitors, black people, so many of them became rich. Their descendants are those who are causing confusion today in our paramount chief, in our chieftaincy institutions today. Because their forefathers bought people, they sold people. They perpetuated evil in the highest because of what they are getting from their masters. Yes. So today, it got to a point, they took some of the descendants or the children of these chiefs, traitors, to Europe to go and learn, to go study the Europeans, their lifestyle, their everything. And after the graduation, they brought them back. And that is where the slave trade or the slave raid got worse. That is where many people got perished. So you see, the mental slavery, among others, was deep. The damage that was done to the black man through slavery was so much. And you know, to make it easier for them, they created missionaries, slavery missionaries, who came in the name of Jesus Christ, who came in Christianity, such an evil religion. The same thing applied to Islamic religion. But I'm happy, I am glad. Those who have eyes will see that the church is collapsing gradually. Religion, man-made religion, is collapsing gradually. And that is why we need to have priests, responsible priesthood, to guide those who are leaving the church. Me as an individual, I cannot do it all alone. We need to create more teachers, more teaching high priests, so that we can travel far, the message can get far. We need a revolution of the mind. The black man have been tortured for much too long. And when you start to teach, to elevate our kind, then an ignorant soul and an ignorant fool will come and tell you you are racist. We don't have such language in our local dialects. Now, let's talk about their concept of physis. Physis. Now let's talk about their concept of physis. I'm going to read something. They said in physis or in physis, they say power concealed only in power. That is what they say according to their physis. But now let's look at this. If truly what they say that power concealed only in power is true, let's find out if it is true. But you see, the unseen can move what can be seen. The unseen can move what can be seen. Example, the wind can move a tree or uproot a tree, but we can't see the wind or the air. It is time to question everything these Europeans brought to us. I am not saying that everything they brought to us is bad. No, I am not saying that. But some of the things they brought to us have caused us a lot of damage. And we need to do our own research into some of these things in order to change our own narratives. Remember this, that the man who enslaved you, look at the man. Listen, I think 2 months ago or a couple of months ago, I have MFA visiting us in Ghana with a brother. We toured most of the Volta region. The video very soon you will see it. But we went to Elmina Castle, and in the castle, at the castle, they have the male and the female dungeon. And where the female dungeon is, on top, it's a church. And that is on top, on the immediate top of it is a church. Then there's a compound with a water reservoir. Then at the extreme north, yes, if my description is right, is where the governor office and residence is. When our mothers are brought there in such barbaric way, when this governor feels like he wants to have fun or have sex, then they will bring a lot of our mothers out, and he will choose the number he wants to have sex with or to have fun with. On top there's church. On top there's the name of Jesus right there. And if our mother, the woman or the women the governor chooses, if any of them refuse, they kill them. They sell them to condemned cell for them to die there. Even some of the women, when they get to the rooms, or some of the women, they get to the room, the bedroom of the governor, and they find out that they're about to be defiled, some of them jump from the room to commit suicide because they don't want to be defiled by those uncircumcised beings. That is the truth. But on top was a church. You see, folks, before I bring this presentation to an end, how many of you have come across the slave Bible, the Negro Bible? The same Bible, but so many things were taken out, and so many things were inserted. One of such verses that were fabricated and inserted. Folks, let me make this point clear and direct. If you read the Bible and you come across any slavery verses or any slave verses, it was inserted by the Europeans. It was inserted by the Jews. It was inserted by the Ashkenazi, the Khazarian Jews. Who told you the Jews did not partake in the slavery? They were the mastermind behind it. I'm talking about the white European Jews. So, one verse that is in the Ephesians, I think Ephesians 6, thereabout. He said what? Slaves, be obedient to your earthly master. Folks, pay attention here. Slave, be obedient to your earthly masters. Do you think the all-merciful God, as we have been taught by these criminal, barbaric European Christian missionaries, will write that a woman who have been captured and labeled as a slave should be obedient to his earthly master, the Europeans? to abuse them sexually, to kill, to do anything. Even our daughters at 7 years old were raped. Our boys were sodomized. All in the name of Jesus. Tell me how this evil religion can save you, the black man. It's not possible. And then they have to tell you that your ancestors, who have done no such thing to anybody, are evil and demonic. What do they do wrong? We need to wake up, folks. We need to wake up. Bob Marley said something in song. Say, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. And I think he continued to say, nobody, none but ourselves can free our minds. I am not here to play with words. I am not here to please religious-minded people. I am here to do the work the universe and the ancestors have handed over to me. So folks, black people, my message is to the black man and the black woman, the black child and the black, to the black race first. You may call me names, Beseda, but I am here to fulfill my side, my mission that the universe, the gods, and the ancestors have bestowed on me to do. And I'm only doing it. When they say, hey, my son, our son, well done, it's time to come home, I will go. And at the appointed time, I'll be back. Well, may the universe continue to grant us understanding, to understand things from different angles. I pray that the universe and our great ancestors continue to touch black people all over the world. It is time we come together. The man who enslaved you, the man who colonized you, will never, right, give you a God that will save you. An educational system that will make you powerful. No. And that is why it is written in the scriptures that for lack of self-knowledge, my people perish. You understand? There are so many knowledge systems in the world. But for lack of self-knowledge, my people perish. The knowledge of self is the first key to the total liberation of your mind, soul, and body. Folks, let's stay out of things that will give us problems, issues. Let's try to show love to each other. I mean, genuine love. Let's not pretend. When your brother and your sister offends you, call him or her. You say, brother, sister, this is what you did. I don't like it. And I believe then the issue should be settled. Let's build each other. Let's protect each other. The backbiting, the character assassination, the gossiping, the evil agenda, the evil mentality, let's take out of our minds. The mind is the heaven that we talk about every day. This mind, what is in our brain, whatever it is here, is the heaven. Give us this day our daily bread as it is in heaven. This is where good and evil incubates from. Here, the mind, the brain, the mind. Let's activate the positive side of our minds, our hearts. See, those who are pure in heart, they will see the light. If your heart is full of revenge, negative revenge, if your heart is full of wickedness, my brother, my dear sister, this dimension will not be a better place for you. Well, this is your humble but fearless teaching high priest, Nufialaga Maupomo Kobla Nonyibe. May the universe grant us understanding. I came with you with the purest of love, and may the universe shine this love in the hearts of each and every man and woman, child, son, daughter, so that the black world can come together. Thank you very much. Much love to everyone. Whew. A lot of comments, but well, I'll take time to read it. Yeah, we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. Thank you. I think